All right, let's sum up the bottom line about everything surrounding Bronny James now that I've gotten a chance to see him play in most of his Summer League games. But let me start here. Clearly, folks are mixing and overlapping too many different arguments about Bronny, some valid, some not so valid. I feel like we got to separate speaking about his game on the court from what actually got him into the league, and frankly, that's almost an impossible task. Make no mistake that he deserves whatever criticism from anybody specifically about his game, but even I will say that Bronny does not deserve the hate coming his way. I mentioned this previously. He couldn't control how he got drafted into the NBA. Too many people are holding Bronny directly accountable for this as if he himself manipulated his way in. But that only explains how he was allowed to skip the line, basically. And I said it myself and I'll repeat it. Nepotism ultimately got him into the league. Period. Love it or hate it, this is where a lot of the hate comes in. He's in the NBA now. He's here to stay. There is no going back. So, if anything, you should be directly holding LeBron Sr., their agent, and the Laker organization accountable, and not Bronny. Because that's the one move they're unapologetic about. But what's unfortunate, folks want to badly hurt Bronny as collateral just to hurt LeBron Sr. And I don't personally agree with that. As a result, nepotism will be next to LeBron's name for as long as he's dribbling the basketball in the NBA. Now, what about Bronny's game? I believe his last two games was pretty decent in comparison to his previous games before that. He did a little bit of everything, scoring, rebounding, playing defense, but his shooting from behind the arc, he only made 3 threes throughout the entirety of that summer league, and that to me is a huge red flag. Now, what's the one thing the Lakers repeatedly talked about in the offseason? The need for more reliable shooting, specifically three-point shooting. So they drafted Dalton Knecht out of Tennessee. And during that summer league, he checked all the boxes for what the Lakers needed, mainly shooting. His defense has questions, though. Now, the Lakers had another opportunity to draft, I would think, another shooter at the 55th pick. They drafted Bronny. The one thing he's not bringing to the Lakers is reliable shooting. It was evident during his 1 year at USC, and it was even worse during that summer league. So now the narrative turned into Bronny being brought in as a developmental player or a special developmental project or something like that, which is fine. But this is what I'm questioning. Look at these summer league stats from two different players. This accounts for the first 7 games. Now, these numbers are seemingly similar, but the difference is one of them is Bronny and the other is Blake Hinson. Now, pause and look at Bronny's best performance against the Cavaliers. Then look at Blake Hinson's best performance against the Bulls in his first and only start. Now, I'm using Hinson in this comparison once again because the writers for USC called out Bronny with his guaranteed multi-million-dollar contract for being outperformed in that first summer league game by an undrafted Blake Hinson, who of course has a two-way contract. And let me quickly make a correction about Hinson's shooting, because last time I mentioned that he flamed out going 0 for 13 in a 2-game stretch, which was against Houston and Miami. He was actually 1 for 13. So I wanted to follow up on all this looking back at both of their careers before the draft and do some of my own numbers. So this is a look at their career stats from high school up until the summer league. Although for Hinson, I couldn't find any of his high school stats. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. But his college stats really stands out when comparing it to Bronny's. And let me not forget to say this part. Bronny's 1 year at USC had a lot of ups and downs. You know, with that medical emergency he suffered, which was life-threatening. So all you really have is his high school stats to go by. And by the numbers, forget about the players' names here. Objectively speaking, why are the Lakers paying this player so many millions and this one gets a two-way contract? The numbers simply don't add up. Then I had to ask myself, and you tell me, should Bronny be paid less or Hinson be paid more? And hey, if you made it this far in the video, do this channel a favor and hit that subscribe button and like this video. Now, I'm not saying kick Bronny off the team or anything like that, but with those numbers between him and Hinson, one is paid way more than the other whose resume is slightly better. And frankly, I feel like the Lakers need to either pay every G League player on their affiliated team the same as Bronny or pay Bronny the same as Hinson. Now, you don't have to agree with that, but at this point, what's your conclusion when it comes to Bronny being a Laker? Leave your thoughts in the comments.